about the method and the message of the Black Lives Matter protesters. Do you agree with that? And if not, what do you think could be different?
I think that what you start with is a moment. That moment, if you're fortunate, builds some momentum, and that momentum turns into a movement. And so I want to give the Black Lives Matter movement great credit for what they've done to focus this country on the issues that matter regarding the lack of respect for the humanity and the dignity of black lives writ large, and certainly the lives of African-American young men and even young women. Having said that, I think they ought to be applauded because they have forced Hillary to address this issue. They have forced Bernie to address this issue. You know, and again, one can question tactics all day long, but at the end of the day, I've learned, Alex, that well-behaved people rarely get anything done.
All right, let's move to the Republican side on that note, because you've said that Trump's anti-immigrant comments aren't disqualifying to black voters. Should black voters be concerned about a candidate who uses such divisive language?
Well, they certainly should be, and I don't know that he's going to enjoy any significant support from the African-American community, although I thought at one point, before he went completely nutty with these comments, that he had a good chance to make a play for the African-American vote, and certainly I thought would do better than Mitt Romney's abysmal showing with black voters the last time around.
But how would he do that?
Oh, there are a number of ways. One, Trump has a lot more. Trump knows black people, and Trump hangs out with black people. He has black friends. I call them BFOTs, black friends of Trump. I've talked to a number of high-profile people who have good things to say about Trump, and I've talked to a lot of his friends who say they've never seen him or behave in any racist sort of way. And so I'm not so sure that Donald Trump is a racist, but he certainly acts and talks in a racial sort of way. And I think to the point you raised a moment ago, Alex, that those anti-Muslim, anti-immigrant comments, I'm sad to say this, but they're not automatically disqualifying for black voters writ large. That is to say that black and brown voters aren't always in lockstep. Clearly there are examples where we've done some coalition building, but in California where I live, when that anti-immigrant Prop 187 was on the ballot, black folk didn't show up in the way the Hispanics thought or hoped that we would. And on Prop 209, I think, the anti-affirmative action measure, we didn't get the support we wanted from their community. So that just because we're getting crumbs from the table doesn't mean that we're always politically aligned. So those comments aren't necessarily automatically disqualified. And so I just, again, don't want the black vote to be taken for granted, but Mr. Trump and Mr. Cruz have got to at least make overtures to the black vote. I mean, how can you even think that a community would consider voting for you if you don't make overtures to them, and especially if you have agendas that run against and run counter to their interest?
All right, let's talk about the book. What motivated you to write it?
All right, so yeah, Tavis Smiley makes a bunch of good points, and he's right, because yeah, when that stuff was going down, as far as that anti-immigration legislation, the black community really didn't get behind the Hispanics on that one. And then when the affirmative action side came up, the Hispanic community, I guess, I don't know if it was a backlash or whatever, but they didn't get with the black community on that item either. And that particular item would have been helpful to the Hispanic community as well. So yeah, the two, let's call them separate communities, definitely aren't in lockstep. And basically everybody needs to vote their own interests, but we really do need to come together when we face something that's going to be derogatory to either one of our groups, as long as it's not going to harm the other.